Welcome to my virtual world. I'm Marie and it's so lovely to be with you. Who's been spending way too much time glued to the screen, sitting for many hours at a time without even noticing how long your body's been in the same position? This lockdown life that's been enforced upon us doesn't mean we need to stagnate, really putting our bodies into motion. As an antidote to the stagnation, let's do a dynamic flowing yoga sequence today to enhance vascular circulation and energy flow, lubricating joints and tissues so we can move and breathe fully, deeply, and in turn think more clearly. The emphasis will be on a continuous steady rhythm of movement and breath. The practice, although dynamic and flowing, is challenging, although we need to be mindful not to strain or push. It integrates periods of rest and observation with the moving flow. And as ever, please practice at your own pace and adapt and adjust to suit your prevailing energy levels and physical state at any given time. You don't have to do all the rounds, and it's okay to rest. I'll demonstrate more gentle variations for some of the sequences on the second round, so do look out for them. So if you're feeling stuck and blocked, you know what you need to do. Yep, let's move, motivate and meditate. So let's start by just rolling back onto our mat with our knees bent up, coming into the little boat pose, holding the shins or the back of the thighs if you have knee issues, and just gently rocking from side to side like a boat bobbing on the water. The neck should be long. Use a blanket under the neck and head if you find it difficult to lengthen through the back of the neck. And just stay here gently rocking and feeling and sensing. Let's have an intention to create a healthier body, a brighter brain, a calmer, clearer mind. And this alchemy is possible when you gather your focus and stay in your body with the breath throughout your practice. Know that we want to slow everything right down, working with total focus, with a smooth, slow, rhythmic pace. Bring your feet down to ground now, lining up the inner edges of your feet with the outer edges of the mat, bringing the knees together at your center line. Can you bring the heels of the palms over the forehead, allowing the fingertips to just round over the top of the skull? Bring the elbows together at your center line. Feel how, with the knees together and the elbows together, you're opening through the back of the body, the back of the pelvis, the outer hips and thighs, the back of the shoulders and ribs. In this position, I want you to focus on breathing. I want you to breathe and feel the ribs expand. And if you feel you've got space, just walk the shoulder blades down the ribs towards the back of the waist, lengthening through the back of the neck. Keep those elbows coming to center, knees coming to center. Just breathing here, keep the feet tracking forward. Can you walk the shoulders any further down? Have you created any more space? And from here, we're going to interlock the fingers behind the head now, opening the elbows wide out to the side. For some of you, this might just be too strong for your shoulders. If that's the case, just open your arms out to shoulder level, palms facing up. Keeping the feet wide, keeping them lined up with the outer edges of the mat. On the breath out, rotate both legs over to the right as you turn your head to look down the left elbow. And as you breathe out, swing the knees all the way over to the left as you turn your head to look down the right elbow. Keep going, rhythmically moving on the breath, first one way and then the other. As you swing the knees to the right, turn the head to the left. Keep the shoulder blades grounded, the outer elbows moving down towards the floor so that the armpits open and the front of the chest is expansive. How much can you take the outer knee and the inner knee down as you move in the twist? No strain or force. And on the next twist over to the right, we're going to pause, bringing the outer right knee down and the inner left knee as close to the floor as possible. Turning the head to look down the left elbow, pausing here to breathe down to your belly, to edge those left ribs as close to the floor as you can. And if you think that there's more space, bring that left foot and thigh further back behind you. Again, don't force. Keep both knees moving to the ground. Breathing towards any resistance. And on the next breath in, bring both knees and the head back to center, lining up the left foot with the outer mat. And then we're going to swing both knees over to the left as you breathe out, turning the head to the right. And we're going to pause here to just feel and breathe and move into any space that we create as we surrender to gravity and breathe through the body. Are you taking the outer left knee as close to the floor as you can, bringing the inner right knee down? If there's more space, again, you can edge that right thigh and foot further back behind you, keeping that right knee moving down towards the floor. No knee strain. Keeping the right shoulder and the right outer elbow moving down to the floor. Keep the neck free. Don't jam it into the twist. And on the next breath in, pull those legs back to center. I want you to bring the feet together and roll the knees out to the side now. Make sure your feet have come together along your center line. Bring the hands above the chest, interlocking the fingers, pushing the knuckles up to the ceiling. Pull the shoulder blades down to the mat and walk them down the ribs towards the back of the waist. Is that neck long still? With the knees wide, as you breathe in, pull the arms over towards the floor without bending the elbows. And on the breath out, move those knuckles back to the ceiling, arms to the vertical, away you go. Breathing in, arms over. Breathing out, coming back to the vertical. Can you maintain that flow with the breath? Timing the movement over with the breath in, timing the movement back to the vertical with the breath out. On the next breath out, interlock the fingers and turn the palms out, keeping the elbows as straight as possible. Breathe in, reach the arms all the way over towards the floor behind you. Breathe out, this time taking the hands all the way down to the pelvis. Keep going, big breaths in. Keeping the hands moving along your center line. Feel the impact of the movement on the chest. Feel that expansion. And on the next breath out, pause to change the interlock, bringing the less dominant forefinger to the front of the pile, turning the palms out, and away you go again. Breathing in, take the arms all the way over towards the floor behind you. And on the breath out, moving the hands all the way back to the pelvis. Keep that rhythmic flow going, breathing in and out through the nose unless you're congested. Stay with the breath, stay with the movement, synchronizing both with each other. And on the next deep breath out, can you release the hands? We're going to slowly bring the knees together now. Let the arms come down to the sides of the trunk, palms facing the floor. And bring the feet and legs hip width apart for a bridge pose series. It's really imperative that the toes are tracking forward and the heels are pointing back. The toes are long, the feet are active, thighs parallel, the outer hips, knees and ankles in line with the outer knees and ankles and little toes in line with the outer hips. Keep the arms at the side of the trunk, and on the next breath in, as you reach the arms overhead towards the floor behind the head, raise the pelvis, waist, ribs and chest up. Keep the pelvis lifted and strong, and on the breath out, just lower the arms down. On the next breath in, as you reach the arms over, if you can, rock up onto the toes, gaining more height in the pelvis and thighs. And on the breath out, we're going to lower the arms down, reaching the heels down to the ground, but pointing them back. Keep the pelvis lifted, heels grounded, breathe in, reach the arms over. And on the next breath out, as you lower the arms down, lower the ribs, the waist and the pelvis. Breathing in, bend the knees to the chest before straightening the legs as vertically as possible. And on the breath out, push the hands forward and lift the head to look at the thighs if the neck is willing. Breathe in here, reaching into fingers and heels and pulling the toes towards you. Breathe out, bend the knees towards the chest. Hold the shins, curl the head to the knees, draw the thighs to the trunk. Breathe in, open the arms wide as you lengthen the head to ground. Breathe out, twist both knees over to the right arm as you turn your head to the left. Keep the knees hugging into the trunk as you breathe in. Pull them strongly and slowly back to center. On the breath out, twist both knees over to the left as you turn your head to the right, only going as far as you can comfortably go. Breathe in, pulling back to center. Breathe out, lower the feet and the arms back to the first position. That was one round. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in, as you raise the arms over, raise the pelvis, waist, ribs and chest up. As you breathe out, just lower the arms down, keeping the pelvis lifted, pelvic floor switched on. Breathing in, this time as you reach the arms over, try rocking up onto the toes. Feel the height you've gained, and on the breath out, as you lower the arms down and reach the heels down, try and retain some of that height. Breathing in, keeping the heels grounded and pointing back, raise the arms over. And on the next breath out, as you lower the arms down, lower the ribs, the waist and the pelvis. Breathing in, knees to chest, bring the legs to the vertical. Breathing out, push the hands forward, and if you can, lift the head to look at the thighs. Breathe in here, reaching and actively reaching into those heels and fingers and pushing the thighs away. And on the breath out, bend the knees to the chest, hold the shins, curl the head to the knees, draw the thighs to the trunk. Breathe in, open the arms wide, keep those knees hugging into the trunk. And this time as you breathe out, we're twisting to the left first as you turn your head to the right. Only go as far as you can comfortably go. Breathing in, we're pulling slowly, deliberately back to center. Breathing out, we're twisting to the right as you turn your head to the left. Keep those knees together, thighs together. Breathe in, pull back to center. And on the breath out, we're grounding both feet and arms down to the side of the body. Ready for the third round. Keep those feet aligned. Breathing in, ground into the feet, and as you raise the arms over, lift your pelvis, waist, ribs and chest up. And on the breath out, we're just taking the arms down, keeping the pelvis strong and aligned, thighs parallel, feet tracking forward. Breathing in, as you reach the arms over, try rocking up onto the toes. And on the breath out, as we lower the arms down, reach those heels down, maintaining some of the height that you gained. We're going to pause here if you can, rest if it's too strong. Interlock the fingers behind the back if your shoulders will allow you to. Push the knuckles towards the heels and try grounding as much of the back of the arm and the outer wrist and little finger down to the floor as you can. Use the grounding in the arms and the feet to see, can you breathe any more height through the front body? You're not jamming the pelvis up towards the ceiling. You're opening the knees towards the bottom of the mat as you breathe the chest towards the face. Breathe here, being easy, feeling that the pelvic floors are engaged. And if you lose that engagement and the contraction starts to fade, pull up. And on the next breath out, release those hands if they're interlocked. And bring, on the breath in, bring the arms overhead to the floor behind you. And on the next breath out, as we lower the arms down, lower the ribs, the waist and the pelvis. Breathing in, bring those knees to the chest, raise those legs to the vertical. And as you breathe out, push the hands forward, lift the head to look at the thighs. Let's pause here for a moment, squeezing those thighs together, reaching into the inner leg as much as the outer leg. Breathe here, squeezing the trunk towards the thighs with each breath out. And on the next breath out, I want you to bend the knees towards the chest and hold the shins. And let's just pause here to draw those thighs into the trunk and rock from side to side, lengthening through the back of the neck. And again, if that is challenging for you, bring a folded blanket under the neck and head. It's a real imperative for the next round. As you breathe in, we're going to open the arms overhead as you reach the legs up to the vertical. A variation will be shown in the next round. As you breathe out, push both arms wide as you push the legs wide out to the side. As you breathe in, bring the arms back overhead and bring those legs together. You're synchronizing upper body and lower body with each other. And on the breath out, bend the knees to the chest as you hold the shins and curl the head to the knees and squeeze the thighs to the trunk. Are you ready to go again? Breathing in, open the arms overhead as you raise the legs to the vertical. Breathing out, push the arms wide as you reach the legs wide. Breathing in, reach the arms overhead as the legs come together. Breathing out, bend the knees to the chest, hold the shins, curl the head to the knees, draw the thighs to the trunk. Last time. Breathing in, reach the arms overhead, legs to the vertical. We're pausing here if you can. And you're going to bring and activate those legs as much as you can, bringing the legs as close together as your body shape will allow. Reaching into the inner heel, the inner ball, the inner ankle, as much as the outer ball. Pulling the toes towards you without pulling the big toes closer. Are you still breathing? Are the legs active? Are you bringing energy into those extremities? And then on the breath out, push the legs and the arms wide out to the side. Remember to extend the energy outwards, keeping your extremities alive, engaged, connected with your life force. Push into the inner ankle and heel, the outer ankle and heel evenly. Push into the heels as you pull the toes towards you, keeping those ankles as close in line with the hips as you can. Breathing in, reach slowly the legs together as you bring the arms overhead towards the floor behind you. And on the breath out, just bend the knees to the chest. Keep the neck and head grounded now. Hold the shins. And once more, we're gently rocking and feeling. Breathe here. And then just slowly, gently bring your feet to ground, keeping the knees bent up. Open the arms out to shoulder level. And we'll do that gentle breathing, rolling twist to balance up the spine. Breathing in, rolling the knees over to the right as you turn your head to the left. Breathing out, swinging the knees to the left as you turn your head to the right. Away you go. It's a really gentle rolling twist where you feel what's going on in the body at this stage of the practice, ironing out any gremlins that you might be aware of. And then when you're ready, roll all the way over onto your hands and knees, bringing the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips for the cat-cow curl, or the vibrancy flex as I like to call it. We're going to bring our hands under our shoulders with the center points of the wrist in line with the outer arm and shoulders. The outer knees, the outer ankles and the little toes in line with the outer hips, with the thighs parallel and the shins and feet parallel. Ground as much of the hand and each finger pad and the thumb into the floor as possible, lengthening through the front of the shin, ankle and the top of the foot. From here, as you breathe in, push the tail up, pubis back, navel and ribs down, open the chest and reach the chin forward. And on the breath out, tuck the tail, lift the pubis, navel, ribs and chest and pull the chin in. Away you go, breathing and rolling the spine. Breathing in, rolling the spine from the pelvis through to the neck and head into the arc, tail up followed by the chin up. Breathing out, breathing and rolling the spine from the pelvis through to the neck and head into the hump, tail tucked, chin tucking. Again, if you catch yourself racing, slow down. Feel the spine being rippled and rolled into a breathing wave, pumping the cerebrospinal fluid along the spinal column and around the brain through the meninges, clearing the foggy mind. And on the next breath in, we're pausing with the tail lifted and the chin pointing forward. And keeping the pelvic bowl tipping over the top of those thighs, we're going to turn the toes under. We're moving into dog down, so you might choose to have blocks under the hands to take some pressure off the wrists, or a bolster for your elbows if you need to work like that. As you breathe out, push up from both hands into the outer hips and keep the knees bent and open the abdomen to the thighs, the ribs to the knees, the armpits to the top of the foot, lengthening through the spine. Have you got a nice line of force? It'll be a diagonal line of force from the wrists through to the outer hips with the spine long. Now from here we'll do the pedaling action. Slowly, deliberately, breathing and reaching one heel down, straightening that leg with the other knee bent, and then swap over. As you bend one knee, the opposite leg straightens. You're in a perfect position to see the trajectory of your heels. Keep those heels pointing directly back. Do they want to pull in? Maybe it's just one heel that wants to pull in. Don't let it, steer it back. Perfect alignment. And on the next breath in, we're going to rock up onto the toes of both feet. You might need to bend both knees to flatten off the back. Remember, a nice long flat back is more important than straight legs. Flat back first and then work to straighten the legs. Keep those outer hips moving back. Keep pushing up from the hands. And on the breath out, can you reach both heels towards the floor? Don't worry if your knees remain bent. On the next breath in, slowly, deliberately, don't collapse down. Start to bend the knees out to the side, down to the mat. Bring the big toes together. And on the breath out, push the buttocks back to the heels and open the abdomen, ribs and chest through the thighs. I want you to reach the arms forward. Don't let them relax. Keeping the shoulders moving away from the ears. Seeing if you can lock out the elbows. Maybe you need to take the arms to form that V shape around the head, out to the side, to lock out the elbows. Keep the chest plate and the armpits breathing towards the floor. And on the next breath in, slowly, deliberately walk the hands back towards the knees. Bring the knees towards each other and see if you can sit back onto your heels. Just come into a kneeling position if that's not possible. We're going to need our blocks for the next series, and we're going to bring the blocks and line them up with the little toes, about 30 centimeters out from your little toes in this position. And you might need extra padding for under your knees. You might need to fold your mat several times to bring it under the knees and shins for the next series. You might even need a bolster or a cushion in front of you to bring the head onto in a moment. So do have what equipment you need so we can move smoothly through the next series. From this position, as you breathe in, we're going to pull up into a standing kneel. Have those blocks on the highest point. You can always lower them down as we come into the pose later. And remember, if you haven't got blocks, do find an alternative. There'll be something around the house. We want to have the knees and the shins and feet hip width apart as we sit back on our heels. And then we're going to compress into a compressed cradle. So bring the abdomen, ribs and chest down. Bring the forehead to the floor or a raised surface. And bring the back of each hand on top of the pelvis and each other. One hand on top of the other to the back of the sacrum, that triangular bone at the bottom of your spine. Just pause here to breathe. This is our starting position for the next series. On the next deep breath in, as you circle the arms out to the side and up, activate your thighs so you can pull yourself up into a standing kneel. And on the breath out, let's twist to the right, turning the head to look down the upturned right palm. Breathing in, pull back to center. And on the breath out, we're moving to the left, turning the head to look down the outturned left palm. Breathing in, pulling back to center. On the next breath out, lower the hands to the horizontal, thumbs touching at center line, fingers reaching away. Pull the thumbs to the chest as you lift the chest to the thumbs, so that you're literally plugging your arms deep into the shoulder sockets. Keep the tail tucking and the pubis lifting so that the buttocks are really switched on. Breathing in, lean back without dropping the buttocks. Breathe out, push forward back to the vertical. Breathe in, pull those arms all the way up overhead. And on the next breath out, internally rotate the arms as you circle them all the way back as you push your buttocks to the heels and compress the abdomen, ribs and chest onto the thighs, coming into the compressed cradle. One hand on top of the other to the back of the pelvis. Are you ready to go again? Breathing in, circle the arms all the way out to the side and up. Breathing out, we're twisting to the left first this time, turning the head to look down the left hand. Breathing in, pull all the way back to center. Breathing out, let's twist to the right. Turn that head, don't jam it. Breathing in, pull all the way back to center. Keep energy into the fingertips. Breathe out, reach the arms and the hands down to the horizontal. Thumbs together at your center line, chest plate lifted, fingers reaching. Breathing in, lean back without dropping the pelvis, forming that Z shape. Breathe out, push back to the vertical. Breathe in, reach the arms all the way up. Breathing out, circle the arms back as you compress down into the compressed cradle. Just pause here. We're going to do one more round and we're going to hold the lean back into a Z shape. Breathing in, reach all the way up. Breathing out, let's twist to the right. Breathing in, pull all the way up. Breathing out, we're twisting to the left. Breathing in, pull all the way up. Breathing out, lower the arms down. Lift that chest to the thumbs as you pull the thumbs to the chest. Breathe in, lean back. Keep the neck and head in line with the spine. Keep breathing. Feel the contraction and the extension happening simultaneously. Breathe here. Keep breathing, be easy with it. Relax as much as you can within the extension and the contraction. Breathing out, push forward. Breathing in, reach the arms up. And on the breath out, circle those arms all the way down, bringing one hand on top of the other behind the pelvis. Stay here for a moment. In fact, bring the hands to the side of the feet and just breathe here for a moment. Breathing down to the belly and feeling the wave of the breath being pushed up into the back of the waist. Feel your spine, the back body being breathed. And on the next breath in, we're going to pull all the way up again. And on the breath out, let's just lower the arms down and let's pause for a moment to check out our postural alignment. Our ears want to be over our shoulders, over our hips, over our knees. with the tail tucking and the pubis lifting just enough to bring the pelvic bowl level so that the back of the waist is long and the abdomen is hollow. Lift that chest plate and move your shoulder blades down. Feel that the front of the pelvis is parallel with the narrow front edge of your mat. And in a moment we're going to do an Ustrasana twist. It's a combination of a back bend, side stretch and a twist. It's bringing them all in together. And when we come into this pose, the pelvis will want to twist, and I'm asking you to keep the thighs vertical with the hips over the knees and the pelvis parallel with the front of the mat. So you're twisting at the waist. So twist from the navel. Let's have a go. Breathing in, reach both arms up, shoulders down. And on the breath out, we're reaching that right hand down to find the block at the right side. And we're seeing, can we bring the left arm over? And you're turning your head to look either at the floor or to look right. And your hips are level. You're twisted at the waist. And you're breathing through that left side. And we're being easy with this. Maybe you need to take more height or have more height under the hands to keep it comfortable. Maybe you can lower the block down, but don't overreach. On the next breath in, let's pull back to center. Are you ready to go to the left? On the breath out, can you reach the left hand down to find your block by the left foot as you reach the right arm over? Keep those shoulders moving away from the ears so both sides of the neck are long. The head either looks down to the floor or looks left. Don't strain the neck. Just breathing into that right side, feeling for that line of force. Keeping the hips over the knees if possible and the hips parallel with the front of the mat. Breathing in, pull all the way up. And on the breath out, we're going to lower the arms down. We're going to push the buttocks back to their heels as we walk the knees wide, bringing the abdomen, ribs and chest through the thighs. Open the elbows wide out to the side, down to the mat, bringing one hand on top of the other, under the forehead. Keeping the shoulders down and the elbows reaching out to the side, up to the top corners of the mat. So you get that delicious extension through the front of the chest, through the back of the chest. Feel how much space you can create between the shoulder blades at the back. Feel how much space you can create between the clavicles, your collarbones at the front. Just pause here, keeping those shoulder blades moving down the ribs as you breathe. Seeing if you've got the capacity to walk the knees wide or wider. And on the next breath in, just lift the body up, straightening the arms, walking the hands back towards the sides of the knees. We're going to transition from the cradle into that forward hanging position. So rock forward slightly, turn the toes under, and when you're ready, I want you to push up from the hands and come into that forward hanging position with the knees bent, the feet and legs hip width apart, body hanging over the tops of the legs, just completely melting over. Keep the sit bones lifting, the thighs parallel, the heels pointing back, the toes long. We want to bring the weight between front and back of the foot. And on the breath out, let's roll the spine up, vertebra by vertebra, vertebra. Roll the shoulders down as you lift the head up, standing firm, feeling for that perfect postural alignment, feeling the ground below your feet, grounding those feet into the earth, feeling the alignment through the body, ears over shoulders, over hips, over ankles, feeling the breath at your center, gazing ahead with soft focus. Breathing in, reach the arms up. Breathing out, twisting to the right. Turn the head to look down the right arm. Breathing in, pull back to center, don't rush. Breathing out, twist to the left. Turn the head, look down the upturned palm. Breathing in, pull back to center. Breathing out, we're leaning to the right, anchoring into the left foot. Breathing in, pull back to center, keep energy out to the periphery. Breathing out, we're leaning to the left, anchoring into the right foot. Breathing in, pull back to center. Keeping the legs really straight. Breathing out, we're going to hinge over the top of those legs, keeping the spine long. Dive towards the horizontal, keeping the hands in line with the shoulders, reaching out from center now, pushing those feet into the earth, reaching the tail up towards the ceiling. I want you to reach out or reaching the buttocks up towards the ceiling as you push the tail back behind you and the forehead, or not the forehead, the crown forward. Just breathe into that. And on the next breath in, we're going to reach all the way up, bringing the hands together above the head if they'll go. Arcing the neck back if the neck is willing. And on the breath out, start to pull the thumbs down your center line to your chest plate. Just pause here to realign, to relax the shoulders down, to lift the chest, to bring the pelvic bowl into alignment so that the waist is long. As you breathe in, open the palms, the arms, and the chest. I want you to reach out into those fingers, grounding into the feet, feeling that energy moving out from center every which way, up into the crown, down into the tail, out into the fingers, down into the feet. Breathe and reach and stretch out from center. And on the breath out, bring the hands together behind the back, little fingers as close to your center line as possible, hands on the back of the pelvis, elbows in. Squeeze those shoulder blades together as you lift the chest, tuck the tail. Breathe in, bend the knees, arc back, look back. Stay back, breathe back. And on the breath out, slowly, deliberately, round forward, coming into that forward hanging position once more. On the next breath out, we're going to slowly, deliberately ground into the feet as we roll the spine up, vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way to the top. And we're going to turn to face so you've got the length of the mat now. And you want your feet wide, so stride the feet wide, either side. And bring some blocks, both blocks, to your right foot, to your right side of the mat. And when you're ready, let's pause to feel our postural alignment. Toes tracking forward, feet parallel. I want the spine to be long, the shoulders relaxed down. Reach those arms wide, keeping the pelvic bowl level so that the back of the waist is long. Or your ears over the shoulders, over the hips, over the ankles. From here, anchor into both feet, keeping the inner ankles lifted. Breathing in, reach the arms up. And as you breathe out, dive forward just towards the horizontal. You don't have to be that far down, but don't go lower. Breathing in, slowly, deliberately pull back up to the vertical. And on the breath out, we're reaching over to the left and we're stretching through the right side, keeping the inner ankles lifted and a real stretch and reach down the outer leg into the outer ankle and foot. Breathing through that right side. Breathing in, pull back to center. Breathing out, dive forward towards the horizontal. Breathing in, keep reaching out from center as you pull all the way back up to the vertical. Breathe out, let's reach over to the right side, anchoring into both feet, reaching and breathing through that left side now. Keep the shoulders relaxing down the ribs and breathe and reach and feel the wave of the breath moving through the ribs and the side of the waist, maybe even under the shoulder blade. Breathing in, pull back to center. Breathing out, dive forward to the horizontal. Reach into the crown and the tail, into the fingers, into the feet. Breathe in, pull back to center. And on the breath out, just lower the arms down. Turn the feet to the right, right foot out, left foot and leg in slightly. So keep those left toes moving to the right slightly. You want your right heel in line with the left heel. Keeping the legs turned to the right and the hips turn at the waist to face forward. And just reach those arms out to shoulder level. Make sure your legs are wide enough. We're going to move into the warrior pose in a moment. So you want the feet wide enough to be able to come into a right angle. Keeping the chest facing forward, reach out again from center into those extremities. So keeping that reach out from center into the crown, the tail, both hands and both feet. Breathe in, reach both arms up. And on the breath out, bend the right knee, steering it towards the 3 middle toes as you reach the arms out to shoulder level, the warrior pose. Breathe in slowly, straighten the right leg as you reach the arms up twice more. You might choose to go a bit wider if you dare. Breathing in as you reach the arms up, bend the right knee out towards the 3 middle toes. Don't take the knee beyond the ankle though. Go wider if you want to go deeper. Breathing in, pull all the way up. Breathing out, come back into the warrior pose. And let's pause here. And I want you to feel that you're strong, stable and grounded in the lower body. And when you are, this will allow the upper body to be light and mobile. So we're going to move the upper body now. Reach back into the left hand, bringing the left hand down the outside of the left leg. Keep that right knee bending as you lean back, as you rotate your trunk up towards the ceiling, rotating those left ribs around to the ceiling. Turning the face, if it's comfortable, to look up, reaching that right arm over, turning the palm to look at the outer left foot. As you breathe in, pull back to center, back into the warrior pose. And on the breath out, we're going to reach the right arm out, bringing the elbow down to the thigh. And if your shoulder's willing, we're going to reach the left arm all the way over so that we come into the extended lateral angle pose. Feeling that line of force from the outer left foot into the left fingers. Bring the arm to the vertical or on the waist if it's too challenging on the shoulder. Now we're going to really be fluid and move. We're going to move from one to the other if you're still with me. As you breathe in fluidly, gracefully, reach over to the left, proud warrior. And as you breathe out, slowly, deliberately, move over to the right, extended lateral angle pose. Breathing in, proud warrior. Keep those legs strong and grounded. Breathing out, extended lateral angle pose. Pause here. And on the next breath out, rotate onto the toes of the left foot. And we're going to move into a lunge pose. You might have to hop that left foot a little bit further back to come into a lunge with the right knee over the ankle, with the shin vertical. Pause to feel your alignment in the lunge. Steer the outer right hip back, directly back to the bottom of the mat to contain those hips. Open the chest. Neck and head in line with the spine. Take a deep breath in here, and on the breath out, we're going to move into the plank or come onto your hands and knees. A variation will be shown on the next round. From plank, as you breathe out, slowly, deliberately open into your dog down position. Breathing in, rock right up onto the toes. And on the breath in, you're going to swing through, if you can, into dog with the head up. Come onto your hands and knees if this feels too strong. A variation will be given. Breathing out, move slowly and smoothly into dog with the head down. And on the next breath in, let's start to bend our knees wide, out to the side, down to the mat. And let's open into the cradle. Keep the arms active, arms reaching, chest opening as you breathe. Don't overreach, don't block the energy. Keep it flowing. Relaxing within the extension. Seeing what physical effort you can let go of without collapsing. And then we're going to walk the hands back as we bring the knees and legs hip width apart. And we're going to rock forward and turn the toes under. And on the next breath out, let's open back into that forward hanging position with the feet tracking forward, the knees bent, the legs parallel, the body hanging, completely loose and limp in the upper body. Neck and head completely heavy. Breathing here, legs active, grounding into those feet. Bringing weight between the front and the back of the foot, evenly between the left and the right foot. And on the breath out, let's roll all the way up. And as you breathe in, circle the arms up. And as you breathe out, twist to the left. Breathing in, pull back to center. Breathing out, twist to the right. Breathing in, pull back to center. Breathing out, lean to the left. Breathe in, pull back to center. Breathe out, lean to the right. Breathe in, pull back to center. Breathe out, dive forward to the horizontal. Breathe in, pull all the way up. If the hands will come together, bring them together above the head, arcing the neck back if that's comfortable. Breathe out, pull the thumbs to the chest, lift your chest to the thumbs. Feel your postural alignment, realign if necessary. Breathe in, open the palms, the arms, the chest, reaching out in all directions, feeling your whole body active and alive, energized, reaching. Breathe out, bring the hands to the back of the pelvis, little fingers towards your center line, elbows moving together, shoulder blades moving together towards the spine. Keeping the contraction between the shoulder blades, lift the chest as you breathe in, tuck the tail, bend the knees, arc back, look back. And on the breath out, swing the whole trunk forward. Once more, pausing to hang, letting the arms be completely free and heavy, shoulders and neck completely relaxed. Ground into those feet, and as you breathe out, roll the spine up. And then we're going to move the feet wide, bringing the blocks to the left side of the mat. So we can do the standing series on the left side. Feet tracking forward, toes pointing forward, heels pointing back, ankles lifted. Stand firm, ears over shoulders, over hips, over ankles. Breathe in, reach the arms up. Breathe out, dive forward to the horizontal. Breathe in, reaching out from center, coming back to the vertical. Breathing out, leaning to the right, reaching through the left. Breathe in, pulling back to center. Breathe out, leaning to the left, reaching through the right. Breathe in, pull back to center. And on the breath out, lower the arms down. We're going to turn both feet to the left now. The right foot turns in slightly as the left foot and leg turns out 90 degrees, bringing the left heel in line with the right heel. Turning the legs and the hips to look left, but turning the body at the waist, reaching those arms out at shoulder level. Breathe in, reach both arms up. And on the breath out, as you move your arms down to shoulder level, steer that left knee back in line with the 3 middle left toes. As you bend your knee to form your right angle, stopping with the knee over the ankle. And as you breathe in, reach both arms up and straighten the leg. You might want to adjust and creep wider. If you feel there's more stretch left, don't strain though. Breathe in, pull both arms up. And on the breath out, let's move into the warrior pose, steering that left knee. Breathing in, pull back to center. Are you ready for the hold? As you breathe out, arms out to shoulder level, steer the left knee in the direction of the 3 middle toes. Pause here into the warrior pose, feeling that the legs are strong and active, but the upper body is relaxing within the extension. Now let's move over to the right. As you breathe in, reach that right arm out and take hold of the outer right leg. Can you bring your left arm over as you turn the chest and the front body to look at the ceiling, bringing those right ribs round towards the ceiling, turning the face but keeping the neck comfortable. And on the next breath in, let's pull back into the warrior pose. And on the breath out, we're going to reach that left arm out. Bring the left elbow down to the top of the left thigh by the knee. Keep grounded in the right foot. And if you can, reach over with that right shoulder and arm. Keep the arm reaching either up to the vertical or hand on the waist if it's too strong on the shoulder. Extended lateral angle pose. Are you ready to move between the two? Move fluidly and gracefully on the breath. Breathing in, pull all the way over into the proud warrior. Breathe out, reach all the way over. Left elbow down, right arm reaching. Breathe in, proud warrior. Breathe out, moving over into the extended lateral angle pose. And from here, on the next breath in, rock up onto the toes of the right foot, bringing the hands down to either the floor or the blocks at the side of the left foot, hopping that right foot back if you need to create more distance between the feet in order to keep that left shin vertical. The knee should never extend beyond the ankle in this pose. Just pause here to steer that outer left hip back to contain the hips, to lengthen through both sides of the trunk and open the chest, flattening the spine, keeping those ribs open, chest expansive. Breathing in, striding that left foot back, seeing if you can come into plank. A variation is demonstrated. Breathing out, moving back into the dog down position. Breathing in, rock right up onto the toes, and if possible, swoop through into the dog up position. Don't strain in any shape or form. Shoulders down, pushing into the hands, opening the chest through the arms. Breathing out, dog down. And on the next breath in, slowly, deliberately, take the knees out to the side, down to the mat. Push the buttocks back and open into cradle. You might choose to do some wrist rotations if you're feeling strain. Just pause here and relax here, relaxing the arms in whatever position feels comfortable for you. Just breathe. Keep the shoulders relaxed down there and just feel the body rising and falling with the wave of the breath. Feel the ground supporting you from below. Can you bring that forehead to ground? Use a surface, maybe one of your blocks or a folded blanket if the ground isn't accessible with the forehead. And then we're going to roll over onto our back and come back into the little boat pose where we started this whole yoga session. So just settle yourself down, and once more you might choose to have a folded blanket under the neck and head. Bend those knees towards the chest and either take hold of the shins or have the hands at the back of the thighs if you've got knee congestion or grumbles. And just gently rock from side to side, pausing here to feel how the body feels at this stage of the program. Hopefully you're more aware of the body. It feels more alive and more awake, more open, happier. Let's try hugging the arms round the back of the thighs now. Seeing if you can bring those hands towards the outer elbows. Draw those thighs right into the trunk. Again, we don't want to cause congestion in the front of the pelvis or the top of the thighs. So go gently. Keep the neck long. The whole spine lengthening along the length of the floor. Now from here, some of you might have more stretch left. And the key to the next move is to keep the thighs hugging into the trunk. Do not let the thighs pull away, they will want to. With the neck long and the back of the pelvis grounding, can you slowly reach the soles of the feet and the heels to look up at the ceiling, bringing the shins towards the vertical. Keep the legs hugging together, the feet hugging together. Keep a reach into the heels and the toes pulling towards you so that the legs are completely active. Who's pulled the thighs away from the trunk? Keep those thighs hugging into the trunk. Now, for some of you, there might be stretch left. Without letting the pelvis ride up, without letting the thighs pull away from the trunk, you might be able to take those feet over towards the head or beyond the head. Stay there and breathe. Don't overreach. Don't let the pelvis lift off the floor. From here, just bend the knees and we're going to release the thighs, taking the knees wide now, reaching the hands up the inner shins, keeping the feet looking at the ceiling and the shins vertical. We're going to do the beetle pose. Can you take hold of the shins or the ankles, maybe even the feet? If you can bring your hands onto the feet, see if you can bring the fingers around the outer foot. Stay here, drawing the knees down towards the side of the trunk as you lengthen the back of the pelvis and the tail down towards the floor. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep the shins vertical. Don't let them push out to the side. Keep them pointing directly up to the vertical. Now, some of you might have more stretch left. Some of you might be able to take hold of the big toes. You can stay with the hands holding the feet in this manner, or even the ankles. We're going to see if we can start to straighten the legs a little, this time out to the side, keeping the back of the pelvis grounded, opening the legs wide, back of the neck long. Just breathe here. Well done. And when you're ready, just bend those knees. Take hold of the shins and once more, just gently rock. Maybe you want to circle those knees, cupping the hands on the kneecaps and pushing the knees together in a circle. First one way and then the other. Perhaps circling the knees away from each other. First one way and then the other. And then I want you to bring the feet down to the floor, hip width apart. And I want you to just, in fact, let's reach the legs up to the vertical first. Let's just, but really loosely, you're not reaching and extending. The legs are just almost hanging up to the vertical, and let's bring those arms up to the vertical, and again they're really loose, they're just sort of hanging there. And then you're going to wobble. I want you to wobble as much of the soft tissue off the bone as you can. Wobble. How wobbly can you make your flesh? You're not kicking in midair, you're wobbling the flesh. This requires a lot of energy. And then just ground the feet to the floor, hip width apart, and open the arms out to shoulder level. Now we're going to just ground into the feet and lift the pelvis just a tad, not very much. And we're going to wobble again. I want you to see how much you can wobble your butt and your thighs and your belly, bringing the wobble up into the chest. How wobbly can you make yourself? Wibbly and wobbly. And when you feel ready, just lower down. From here, let's do that rolling twist. Breathing in, roll the knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. Breathing out, roll the knees to the left as you turn the head to the right. Away you go, being really easy and gentle. Breathing and rolling and twisting and feeling. Sensing what's going on in your body at the end of this practice. Is your body ready to relax? Can you reach, come back to center now and reach those legs out along the mat, taking the feet and legs at least hip width apart. You might find that you are more comfortable with the back of the knees over a pillow or a rolled blanket or bolster. You might find that you want a pillow, a low pillow, or a folded blanket under the back of the neck and head. Let's open the arms out to the side. Just pause to lower the gaze and close the eyes. And do give yourself at least 3 to 5 minutes to just settle here and relax, to allow the body and mind to assimilate the practice. It's all about surrender. It's all about letting go. It's all about trusting the process. And hopefully the practice has brought you to a state where the body is prepared to be still, where the body is prepared to surrender and let go. And it's when we can let go in the body that we can start to bring the focus to look at the mind, letting go in body and mind. You should be feeling so much better after that, because you've just spent the last hour soothing those frazzled nerves, easing muscle fatigue, restoring the body, calming the mind, and feeding our energy banks. Remember, movement is the song of the body, and the body needs to sing. Namaste, dear ones. Sending so much love. And remember, before the next viral video, 2 stretches every waking hour.